Let's keep going. Here are 4 ways. Man, time flew by tonight. Let me get to some solution because I don't want to sound too pessimistic all night. Here are 4 ways to change your habits. Because first you have to understand that your habits are exactly why you are where you are. It's your habits. 4 things you got to do. Number 1, the best way to get rid of old habits, or change your habits, is to rid yourself of old habits to form new ones that counteract and replace the undesirable ones. See, it's just like smoking. Let's use smoking cigarettes, which I've never smoked before, but from what I understand, and I can pretty much see, it's a pretty bad habit to break. One thing I pride myself in is I'm very non-judgmental. I don't judge people. When I see you smoking, I pray for you. I wish you would stop because I wish you understood how that habit does affect others. I've seen people die from cancer. I've seen what happens to family members who've lost individuals to cancer. I've seen the long-term effects of one bad habit. Then your children start smoking, and then guess what? That's part of the environment. They learn to smoke from you. So I'm just going to use smoking for an example. If you want to stop smoking, it's not easy by any means, and I'm not a smoker. But I do know that you have to replace that habit with something else. Unfortunately, some people start to eat. So they say, Brian, I stopped smoking, I gained weight. Well, I almost would rather you do that because we can always lose the weight. I guarantee you that carcinogens hurt worse than calories. Okay. So, but my point is, that's why they have to use something different. Use the patch. Some people smoke out of the repetition of having to do this with their hand back and forth. They have to do something. In other words, you have to replace old habits with new ones, or you're inclined to go back towards them. So my point to everybody is this. Let me tell you what I used to do when I was in college. I would literally take off my shirt or my socks or when I'm ready to get in the shower or get in the bed. Do you guys know the hamper can be right there? And I would drop my clothes next to the hamper. I would drop my clothes next to the hamper. So what happens typically, somebody may have to call you out on that, right? So let's say your wife calls you out on it. Hey, babe, why are you dropping your clothes right next to the hamper? The hamper is like 3 more inches, and I promise you, we in the hamper. 3 inches. Just drop here, drop. Well, that's because somewhere along the lines, that's a habit. Now, somebody calls that out to you, and eventually you start dropping your clothes in the hamper. Well, that old habit had to be replaced with something new, but it takes someone else to wake you up and realize that you even had a bad habit in the first place. So when it comes to changing your habits, don't run from criticism. Embrace it. Because if you could get where you wanted to be, being you, you would be where you want to be. Just a little something I thought about. If you could get where you wanted to be, being you, then you would be where you want to be. So when somebody says, you know what? You need to stop dropping your clothes right next to the hamper. You can't reply, how long I've been doing this? Now you tripping now? You see, you can't do that. You got to replace that old habit with a new one. All right, let's go quickly. Number 2, we're talking about creating new habits tonight. All right, number 1, the best way to rid yourself of an old habit is to form new ones that counteract and replace the undesirable habit. That's the first thing. Let's move on.